He turned around, stopped the haircut, looked me in the eye. You know how I got it? Hard work. And that stuck with me. If he's here, DJ, you here, my man? I want to call you up to the stage. Right behind you, DJ. Let me say a few words tonight. Welcome, DJ, to the stage. Barbershop still in Sharonville.
The state of Ohio will never have in its lifetime a man like this. Vic, he will win the governorship of Ohio and be the man that what he has said. He's true. When I was cutting his hair for many years, he was a little guy. We talked about a lot of things, but two things we talked about, and that was truth and justice for all people. So for him to give me a shot at this, I don't know why, but when I started cutting his hair, his mother, and I cut his father's hair, and his brother's hair, and everybody's hair. But God has sent us something. And he has sent us this man because he will make Ohio the greatest state in this United States. Thank you.
I wrote my first book, Woke Inc. People ask me, I actually talked about business through the lens of DJ's Barbershop. People ask me about meeting DJ. That's why we had you here today, DJ. Thank you very much. And I want to call up a couple of other people as well who've been influential in my life. I talked about Mrs. Kinney, who couldn't obviously be with us today because of a tragedy a couple of years ago. But I went to St. X for high school, and one of the teachers who shaped my view was, I can't call him by his first name, Dan. It doesn't come out. Mr. Zeff, as well as how I still address him. I was in his U.S. history class when the two planes hit the Twin Towers as a junior at St. X. And I remember the way he taught us U.S. history at the rest of the school year in the shadow of what happened that morning. He's here with us. Dan Zeff, you here? Mr. Zeff, come on up. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Say a few words, please. Thank you.
You know, it's such an honor to be here tonight to speak on your behalf, Vivek, in such a setting of so many great people who love the state of Ohio and love the United States of America. And I've been a teacher at St. Xavier High School for 27 years, and my specialty is advanced placement, which is Vivek's wheelhouse, by the way. And so I've had the blessing of teaching a lot of gifted young men and driven young men. And Vivek, I taught him in 2001, is unparalleled ever since in terms of his work ethic, in terms of his merit and his talent. Unparalleled and unrivaled still to this day. And what Vivek was also really good at was he collaborated. He was willing to work with his classmates. He listened to his classmates. He valued his classmates' opinions. And what else Vivek was really good at is crafting his own ideas. Too many students just simply want to recite. Vivek wanted to think critically, and he crafted his own ideas. Original thought and thinking outside the box, that is Vivek Ramaswamy. And you know, Vivek, when we were attacked, we were studying our founding fathers. The very nation that they created was the day that we were attacked. And he was in my classroom when the towers were struck. And so for those who are old enough, we know how scary that was. Frightening. I was scared. I had a brother, in fact, that was working in Manhattan at that time. And so how did we react? We prayed because we were a community that was God-centered. So what better place, honestly, to be in the halls that share the same values? We also were a community that called on its students and its graduates to share our talents with the wider world, to share our talents to make the world a better place. And how ironic that we were studying our founding fathers, creating a nation that called on its citizens to civic duty, to do our part to make the United States even better. How ironic that we were studying our founding fathers who created a nation based on the idea that your station in life is dictated by how hard you work and the talent that God gave you. And Vivek Ramaswamy epitomizes all of the above. Lastly, I want to thank you once again for being here. God bless Ohio and God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zeff. So there's a funny little story about the place where we are right now. So this is an aerospace company, as I said, just a few miles away from the first house where I grew up as a kid. But it was also the site of my very first ever political event. I just moved on from my job as a biotech CEO. I can't remember. I was transitioning out. It was right around then, about 6 years ago. And there was a special event here. It was the beginning of a rally to kick off for President Trump and the Republican Party. And actually, I'm not going to tell the story. I'm going to call up the friend who brought me here. She's a very short story she was going to share tonight. Nancy Nix, who many of you know from around here as well. Nancy, you around here? Come on up. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you must know I am so nervous because his gifts in speech making are without competition. So I'm so glad to be here today. I'm Nancy Nix, Butler County's auditor, and I just was going to share a short story with you. 5 years ago, around this time, Butler County Republicans were gathered here for a major monumental Trump rally. There were hundreds of people here just like today, supporters, congressmen, local officials gathered for this momentous occasion. But earlier that day, a special friend had contacted me to ask for a heartfelt request. He had a friend who was going to be coming to the rally who had never been to a rally before, and he wanted my husband and me, he knew we'd be here, could we please take him under our wing? And of course, we said, of course, and that person happened to be Vivek Ramaswamy, but the gentleman the special friend who had asked me to introduce him around was our very own Vice President, J.D. Vance. The rest, as we say, is history. Vivek, welcome back to CTL Aerospace, the place where it all began. And we're all thrilled to see Vivek breathing new life into Ohio, the thrill and the hope and the possibility. Vivek is a champion of innovation and creativity. His brilliance, paired with miles and miles of common sense, is the embodiment of our future governor and leader of this great state. We love you, Vivek. And after all you did to help President Trump win election, it is now our turn to help you.
She does a lot of great work for Butler County. Thank you, Nancy. It's good to, we started my entry into politics right here at CTL Aerospace. I hope we didn't end it tonight, but we're just continuing and getting started. Thank you, Nancy. That was very kind of you. And the last person I wanted to call up was a very special person from my life, starting at a young age, who actually was my beloved piano teacher, Marianne Jordan, who is a longtime native of Southwest Ohio. She used to drive 45 minutes across the other side of town to teach my brother and I piano lessons, but she didn't just teach us how to play the piano. She actually, when I graduated from high school, gave me a biography of Ronald Reagan. She would take time in between her lessons to talk about the values that this country was built on. And I believe that people like that are the ones who shape and pass on the American dream to my brother and I. And I invited Marianne to come here and say a few words. So please welcome Marianne Jordan with grace. Thank you.
everything always has to be lowered down to my level here. I have always been so impressed with Vivek's intellect. He is one of the smartest people you could ever meet. And when he told me, while he was still taking lessons, he was, I think, about 16 years old, that he was thinking of going to Harvard. And I panicked because I know how liberal they are, and I did not want them to get Vivek. So I gave him a book by Ronald Reagan and a few other things, and after lessons we would talk about this. I never dreamed he was going to run for president like he did. That was absolutely incredible. But Vivek is very kind and thoughtful. He has the ability to quickly put his thoughts together and come out with a speech that he's never rehearsed or anything. I've never seen anybody so eloquent. He cares for our country. He's a wonderful family man, very thoughtful, so intelligent, and he's really nice looking too while I at it. That's right. He had a good hairstylist, didn't he? I know that we are all thrilled that President Trump has been elected, a man that I wish with all my heart I could meet someday. And I'm just as thrilled and proud and feel so privileged to have Vivek be the governor of our country. Just as Trump is making America great, Vivek's going to make Ohio greatest of all.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Give these people who have shaped and touched my life in different ways a big round of applause. Thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. Look, this is what makes America great. It's not just the green pieces of paper. It's the human beings, the people who take time out of their own life to make contact with somebody who they didn't have to actually care about, but gave a second care to. And each of you have done that for me at points in my life. That's what it's going to take to keep that burning fire of America alive, to pass that American dream on to our kids. Now, to the extent that we have a primary this year, I embrace that. I welcome it, because competition breeds innovation. I'll be conservative without being combative in this race, though I will fight to win when necessary. I will work with everyone in this state, even those who run against me, to take our state to the next level, because I genuinely believe even my strongest opponents will have ideas that deserve our consideration. We want to build a coalition. The movement starts today, of Ohioans, black or white, man or woman, urban or rural, even Democrat or Republican. If you care about economic excellence and educational excellence, then join us, because we're going to be working together to take our state to new heights. We don't have to be a state in decline. We don't have to be a nation in decline. We can still be a state in our ascent, on our way up. The beacon of light that makes the shining city on a hill still shine brightly to the rest of the country and to the rest of the world. That is who we are. So 10 years from now, when we're sending manned rockets to Mars, when we're powering our electric grid with nuclear energy, when we're actually curing previously incurable genetic diseases, you know what people are going to say then? Only in Ohio. That's who we are. Thank you all for coming out today. May God bless you and your families. May God bless our United States of America, and may God bless our great state of Ohio. Thank you all. God bless. Thank you. Thank you.